Yo, microphone check 1 2. What is this? GYGB flowing with the roughneck business. Little fight diggity there, Tribe Called Quest, one of the best hip hop groups of all time. Don't get that ever twisted. But this is Guard Your Girl Boxing, one of the best, no, still the best boxing group, establishment, company, whatever you want to put us at. We still the best at what we do out there, man. Shout out to the Brass, Docs, Big Mike, Sleep, Rada Da, BJ Murray, the Volley Boy. We still form like Voltron, man. And I promise y'all, man, I know I keep saying it, but before this big fight kickoff, September 14th, we gonna have a cipher back, man. The cipher is back in full effect. And it's the steel cage, man. You know how we do, man. We battle like my man Kendrick said, man. We trying to murder each other when we get in front of this camera, debating over our points, man. It's no love when the GYGB crew get together and debate these big fights, man. So be on the lookout for that, man. Shout out to the family out there that's holding us down every weekend. I'm gonna give a shout out to my aunt Bernice, who always hold GYGB down and continue to support us. So I want to give a big shout out to her. And we're going to get into it, man. I'm going to kind of take a different direction this week. We still got the big fight, as I mentioned. I want to kind of talk about being a fan and what it means to you as a fan, because I think some of y'all have went a little soft and y'all fandism. I want to talk about greatness. It was a site out there, and shout out to my folks overseas. We got mad love over the pond. I know y'all got the Sky Courier cable network, and I don't know correct me if I'm wrong, I believe y'all got a show or maybe a channel called Boxing Nation, and maybe a show, but which I think is a great thing. But they did a top 10 list of the greatest, who they felt was the greatest fighters of all time. And I want to kind of touch upon the list. I'm not going to go through the whole list. I'm just kind of talk about it and what my opinion. Because all it is opinions. It's nothing factual about these lists. And people need to relax. Everybody get all head up in arms. Oh my God, how could you put him there? Relax, people. You know what I mean? But Labor Day weekend here in the States, summer, put a cap on it. I mean, as an adult, your life don't really change. Summer, fall, spring, whatever, just a change of the seasons. Your bills are still due on the first of the month. If you punch in the clock or you work for you, whatever you do, you still got to continue to do what you do. So shout out to the people that's in the education field. You guys are seasonal based, so I guess it's more reality for you. But it's funny because I feel like we get ready to start the boxing season too. We got so much going on this fall that I can't wait to put my palms on these subjects. But today we're going to talk about something different. I want to talk about your right as a fan. What are you you have the right to do. And one of the reasons I'm bringing this up because last weekend we had a featherweight fight that was supposed to be a big time fight, and it turned out to be a 1-round affair, and that was the showdown between Abner Mares and Johnny Gonzalez. It was just a 1-round fight. He got clipped with a right hand early in the fight, but he went down with a left hand. And, Johnny Gonzalez was there to be an opponent. Don't get that twisted. Don't get it misconstrued. Don't try to pump him up more than... He's a good little fighter, but he was there to be an opponent for Ponce de Leon. He was there to be an opponent for Israel Vasquez, and they all got the W's in the end. Not taking anything away up. That's just the way of the business. That's the way boxing works. Some guys are put in to be opponents, and some guys are just put in there to be the showcase. And unfortunately for Abner Mares, who I'm a fan of, I just want to put that out there, that I'm a fan of Abner Mares. I think he's a decent little fighter. I just thought that, I have an opinion the way I thought he acted at the end of the fight. I want to see if anybody else feels the same opinion. And, I have an issue with some of these people out here that's telling people how to be a fan. And one of the things that bothered me the most, I didn't care about him being knocked out. The only thing I had an issue with, we have a saying on the show that Sleep he adopted this saying from Teddy Atlas, and it kind of became, the company logo, and that's behave like a fighter. We like to see fighters behave like a fighter when they getting hurt and they get in trouble. You seen pound for pound Picasso himself, Floyd Mayweather, get hurt and behave like a fighter. Locked up Shane Millsy's arm, clinched him, do whatever you got to do to survive. Abner Mares didn't do that. He's young, he still can grow, but he got hurt and tried to fight his way back in the fight instead of just trying to, figure out a way to, first get his legs back first. You got to get your legs back first before you get in the fight. But that's neither here nor there. What's here on the surface today is that he was kind of nonchalant to me. at the end of the fight? Oh, it's no big deal. We'll get him next time. No, dog, this is not Little League Baseball. Pat little Johnny on the head and take him out for ice cream and hot dogs at the shack. No. This is prize fighting. Now, before the fight, they showed him in his big mansion. He's got this new crib. And I'm always happy to see these fighters go through so much on a year basis to get where they need to get to. So if you want to buy a house, a jewelry, car, then God bless. Do you. You know what I'm saying? But as a fan, I have the right to be mad when the person that I'm rooting for is not showing the same desire and passion that I'm showing while I'm watching the fight. And, you have some of these writers and these boxing sites out here questioning people because they felt as though, like I feel, that they was nonchalant. Well, your job as a fan, you can be an armchair quarterback when you're a fan. You're a fan. Like they say, fans put fannies in the seats and help the athletes eat. Don't ever lose sight of that, fans. You guys are the reasons why these dudes can ride around in Phantoms, Audemars Baguettes and, Rollies and all this whole, have homes in the Caribbean and all these exotic places. It's because of you that these guys are able to do that, because you pay for the pay-per-views, you pay for the seats, and so on and so forth. You help these guys, so you have the right to be upset when they lose, and you have the right to cheer when they win. I mean, everybody lose. I'm not saying that him losing is a bad thing. Losing come with the territory. And as a fan, you have to ride. You got to ride with your guy, no matter what. But in this particular situation, I'll get him next time. He's a friend. I just don't particularly care for them terms after a fight. I just didn't see enough emotion, and I want to go on vacation. Normally, when guys say they want to go on vacations after a win, normally after a loss, you're even hungry to get back to do what you got to do. I mean, I know it was a knockout. But we've seen worse in the sport. And again, I'm not in that man's body. I can't speak for what he's going through mentally, what have you. But I'm just saying, I just thought it was just very nonchalant. It was just like, it just wasn't a sense of urgency after I'm not saying he can get back in the ring and go in and finish the fight, but it was just like, I want to see that grit out of my athletes, that fire. Maybe I'm being a little overzealous, but I have the right to be overzealous, just the same way you have the right to be overzealous. And nobody can tell me or dictate how I feel about who I'm a fan of. And I just felt like it just felt a little Victor Ortiz-ish to me, like he was ready to jump on a kayak and take the waves in Santa Monica. That's just how I felt about it, But anyhow, that's neither here nor there. Props to Johnny Gonzalez. Again, he was there to be an opponent, but that night he, proved all odds. He was a component, not an opponent. I hope that, they can get it. And don't give me this, he's not built for featherweight. No, don't do that. Don't do that, because then you taking away from that man's win. He got clipped. He got caught out there. It happens in boxing. And his job is to recover and rebound from it. Now, let's get into this greatness thing. We're going to get into all other stuff. Well, like I said, we still got a week to do that. Top 10, okay, right off the bat, they had, I think, Ali, Ray Robinson, and I think they had Floyd Mayweather third. Now, my issue with these lists here's my problem with doing a top 10 list. You have fighters in every generation got challenged. They said Ali, fight bums. See, y'all don't, a lot of us, we wasn't born, I know I wasn't born, but I talked to older people, and they said they scrutinized Ali, they scrutinized, every fighter has been scrutinized. Floyd Mayweather is not the only fighter that's been scrutinized. But I think where the Floyd Mayweather thing comes in, and I don't know if I'm sticking with Floyd Mayweather because we're in modern time, and I don't believe Floyd Mayweather, much as I believe he's one of the best fighters I ever set my eyes on as far as using his thinking cap, I don't believe he's a top 3 fighter of all time. And it's hard in this day and time, and I was talking to, shout out to Rada Da and my man Corey, we was all talking on the phone earlier, and I said it's hard to put Floyd in a top 5 list because of the power that Floyd Mayweather has in today's world. Like, he can pretty much dictate a lot of his terms. And I brought up, like, let's just say, for instance, like a Ray Leonard. If he was to fight Marvin Hagler, like, if Ray Leonard was in the seat that Mayweather's in, like the power and the demands that he can pretty much place, and Floyd earned every right to do what he's doing, I'm just saying Ray Leonard would have had Hagler at 158 or 55 pound versus 160. So it's hard to compare the two because it's just so many different stipulations And for everybody, people watch these videos, they come, oh, dude hating on Mayweather, what are you talking? Nah, dog, don't even go there with that, because I'm telling you, it's stipulations. They hated on Ali. Everybody has had, but what if this happened, that? It's just hard to compare different eras because different things took place. Again, in this particular day and era, Floyd Mayweather has the power to control a situation that fighters didn't have the luxury to do that back then. We fight that middleweight? Okay, we got to fight that middleweight. I'm moving up to super middleweight? We got to move up to super middleweight. I don't have the power to say let's meet at a catchweight. It's just hard to do that. And one of the things, they had Joe Calzaghe. That's what I'm saying. These lists are so subjective. They had Joe Calzaghe. And I think you talk to somebody from Wells, they'll tell you that Joe Calzaghe was in the top 10 fighter. But listen, I want to get into this with the crew. We're gonna try to do a top 10 list of all time. I just wanted to bring that up because that was a little knot in my chest that I wanted to unloosen. Like, it's hard to put a modern day fighter as a top 3 because of the stipulations that a fighter and the control that a fighter has today. But that's our show. This is Guard Your Girl Boxing. Shout out to the family, man, for holding us down. We'll see y'all next week, man. Peace.